Marcus stared at the crumpled rejection letter, his fingers trembling. It wasn't the first, no, he'd received, but this one stung more than the others. It came from the company he'd dreamed of working for since his first day of college, a company whose name was practically a promise of a future he'd envisioned since he was a teenager. All the late nights, the skipped parties, the hours spent poring over textbooks and perfecting his resume, what were they worth now? He looked around the small apartment he shared with his best friend Danny, the place that had been their shared safe haven during the struggle. Outside, city lights twinkled like distant stars, mocking him with their indifference. Somewhere in the distance, laughter and music floated through an open window, a reminder that other people were celebrating their victories tonight. Marcus felt as if the world had decided to move on without him. He crumpled the letter even further and let out a shaky breath. Danny burst through the door like a gust of wind, a grocery bag in one hand, and 2 cans of soda in the other. He always had that energy, relentless, unwavering, like nothing could drag him down. He tossed the bag on the coffee table and grinned. Bro, you wouldn't believe the line at the deli. I got you your favorite, turkey sub, extra pickles. Then his eyes caught the letter in Marcus's hand, the way his shoulders slumped. Another one. Marcus tried to smile, but it faltered. Yeah, he said, another one. Danny dropped onto the couch next to him, the grin fading but the light in his eyes undimmed. Man, I know this sucks, he said gently. But you can't keep beating yourself up like this. You're talented, Marcus. You just need the right break. Marcus sighed. I thought this was it, you know. I thought this one was finally my shot. Danny nudged his shoulder. Dude, maybe it wasn't. Maybe something better is waiting. Or maybe this was supposed to teach you something. Marcus let the letter fall to the floor. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. Maybe I'm meant for something else. Danny didn't respond immediately. He leaned back on the couch, staring at the ceiling. You ever think, he said, that sometimes failure isn't about you not being good enough? Sometimes it's just life's way of telling you to look somewhere else. Marcus let his head fall into his hands. I don't know, man. I'm just so tired of trying. There was a quiet moment between them, broken only by the sound of a distant siren wailing in the city night. Then, 3 quick knocks at the door. Marcus hesitated. Danny raised an eyebrow. You expecting anyone? Marcus shook his head. He stood and opened the door. A woman, elderly, her hair a tangled silver, stood there with a threadbare coat draped over her shoulders. She held a worn canvas bag that looked like it had seen better days. Her face was lined with exhaustion, and her eyes held a kind of desperation Marcus had never seen up close before. Excuse me, she said, her voice cracking like old wood. I'm sorry to bother you, but could I please have a glass of water? I'm so thirsty. Marcus blinked. Of course. Please, come in. Danny was already on his feet, bustling toward the kitchen. Marcus gently guided the woman to the couch, where she sank into the cushions like a wilting flower. Danny handed her the water, and she drank it in slow, trembling sips, as if each drop mattered. When she finished, she set the empty glass on the table with shaking hands. Thank you, she whispered. I don't know where to go tonight. It's so cold outside, and I'm so tired. Would it be too much to ask if I could, maybe just rest here for a little while? Marcus glanced at Danny, who didn't hesitate. Ma'am, you can stay as long as you need. Danny said warmly. We'll find a blanket, too. Tears filled the woman's eyes. Thank you, she whispered again. You boys, you're good people. The world needs more like you. Marcus felt something shift inside him, something he hadn't felt in weeks. A sense of purpose that had nothing to do with resumes or interviews or boardrooms. He went to his bedroom, grabbed an extra blanket, and draped it over the woman's shoulders. She sighed with relief. My name is Mrs. Hargrove, she said. My son lived here in the city, but he passed away last year. I came to collect his things, but, well, I ran out of money, and I've been sleeping wherever I can. I just didn't know where else to go. Marcus's throat tightened. I'm so sorry, he said. You're safe here. We'll help you. Danny smiled at Marcus over the woman's head. See, that's the guy the first no. That's Marcus. All through the night, Mrs. Hargrove shared stories of her son, of the dreams she'd had for him. Marcus and Danny listened, offering comfort where they could. Marcus felt his own failures shrinking in the face of hers. She had lost her child, her entire world, and yet she found the strength to carry on. In the morning, she thanked them both with tears in her eyes. You've reminded me that there's still good in the world, she said. May you both find what you're searching for. Marcus hugged her gently. Thank you, Mrs. Hargrove. After she left, Marcus sat on the couch, feeling strangely lighter. He looked at Danny. You know, maybe all this rejection, maybe it was just to remind me that being human, being kind, matters more than any job title. Danny grinned. Man, I've been trying to tell you that for weeks. A week later, Marcus got an email that nearly made his heart stop. It was from the company that had rejected him, the same one that had broken his heart. They wanted to offer him a second interview. Something about his persistence and the personal touch he'd brought to his application had made them take a second look. Danny whooped so loud Marcus thought the neighbors would call the cops. Told you, man, hard work never dies. Marcus couldn't help but laugh, but there was a softness in his smile now, a humility that hadn't been there before. When he walked into that second interview, Marcus didn't wear desperation like a shield. Instead, he wore something else, a quiet confidence that came from helping a stranger in need, from remembering that his worth wasn't tied to a job offer. When the interviewer asked him why he thought he'd be a good fit, Marcus didn't launch into a rehearsed speech about metrics and KPIs. Instead, he said, I've learned that the most important thing in any job isn't just technical skill or experience. It's empathy. It's the willingness to lift others up, to be part of a team, to bring humanity into every challenge. I've failed before, but I've learned that failure is just another step forward, if you let it teach you. The interviewer leaned back, studying him. Then he smiled. That's the kind of person we need on our team. Marcus's heart soared. He shook the interviewer's hand, feeling as though a weight he'd carried for so long had finally lifted. He called Danny the moment he stepped out of the building. Bro, I think I got it, he said, his voice shaking with joy. Danny whooped again, nearly deafening him. I knew it, Marcus. You're unstoppable. Marcus laughed, tears pricking his eyes. Nah, man, I finally realized what matters most. That night, as he sat on the couch in their apartment, Marcus thought of Mrs. Hargrove. He hoped she'd found somewhere warm and safe to sleep. He thought of all the others who'd helped him along the way, his mother, Danny, even the strangers whose stories had taught him resilience. Failure, he realized, wasn't a dead end. It was a detour, a chance to see something new, to grow in ways he hadn't imagined. He might never stop failing sometimes, that was life. But now he knew that each failure carried a lesson. And every act of kindness, no matter how small, had the power to light a path forward. In the end, Marcus understood that overcoming failure wasn't about avoiding it. It was about showing up again, heart open, ready to help others, no matter how many times the world said, no. Because in the quiet kindness of a helping hand, he had found the strength to rise again. And that, he knew, was the real measure of success.